So I showed how the chatterbox devices can talk to each other, and really all you need to securely communicate would be two of these. But for other things like extending range, or maybe connecting two different clusters that are listening on different frequencies, or I'm not sure what all reasons, there would be a lot more. But I've also created this device which would be called a bridge. It's actually a lot smaller, but I kind of made this bigger frame so I can take it around and sit at places to do testing with, and it will be a little bit more robust, able to take a beating a little bit or whatever. So this one you can see has a bigger antenna. When it doesn't have a touch screen or anything like that, this isn't really something you would interact with. It just kind of sits there and runs. But it also has been onboarded to the same cluster, so it does not have the there's two types of encryption that can happen if you're sending from device to device. The encryption is done using the key pair of the two devices, so nothing else, along with the cluster key. It's a combination. When something is broadcast, it's only encrypted using the cluster key, so any devices on the cluster are able to decrypt it. When you onboard a device, like if I start a new cluster with this one and then I onboard these two, they would basically then be sharing the cluster key, which got generated by the root, what frequency they're listening on, what the name of the cluster is, things like that. When I onboard the bridge, so that it becomes part of the cluster and is able to extend range and do other functions, it does not get the key, so it can't decrypt anything, but it does know the public keys of these devices. So if it sees a message come across, it can verify that it was from one of these devices and which one, and also that it's a fresh message that wasn't getting replayed by something that's listening. But what I'll show real quick here is how, if I try to send a message, let's say, to one of these devices that's not turned on, so it's not going to be able to directly immediately send it. Okay, so I go to send. You can actually see that this is seeing the traffic, but it's kind of ignoring it for now until this gives up sending it to that, and we'll decide then to send it to the bridge. So once the bridge gets it, it's going to kind of queue that and try to get it out. So when I do turn the device on, and you can see that the bridge is still trying to send them. So it should get the message here shortly. The messages come in packets, so it's more. So there it is, and it got it. So the bridge is no longer trying to send the message to this thing. And again, it couldn't read what it was sending. It just saw the packets, validated the signature that came from this device, but the actual payload, it couldn't see it. It's just kind of plumbing to get the messages where they need to go. And again, this isn't really necessary. It's just helpful for extending the range, or you might want to queue messages for a longer time, so that I don't know what all purposes the bridge will have, or different forms of the bridge, but that's kind of a demonstration of what that can do.